In this episode, marketing expert Maxwell Finn shares the truth behind what it takes to be successful when digitally marketing yourself and your business. Here's a hint. It all starts with having mindset, long-term goals, and having a giving mentality. I've spent the last 5 years learning from the most brilliant entrepreneurs today, and now I've left my 9-to-5 to take the plunge and build $1 million business. The real question is, what does it take to become a successful entrepreneur and create financial freedom? This podcast is here to give you the answer. Join me and follow along as I learn, apply, and share insights from world-class entrepreneurs to grow my online business and create a community of raving fans. My name is Brendan McCauley, and this is Growing Entrepreneur. We have one of the biggest players that I've ever met in the digital marketing and paid traffic arena. His name is Maxwell Finn. Max, thank you, dude, so much for being on. Truly appreciate it, man.
That's my pleasure, brother. I'm excited to chat with you before the hurricane.
Yes, yeah. So for those of you who aren't aware, we both live in South Florida. He's in Orlando. I'm in Boynton Beach, and we have a hurricane coming down in the next couple days. So, but you're actually taking off for a vacation, you said, right?
Yeah, and I get to fly back on the day the hurricane's supposed to hit. So maybe we have to stay in Vegas for an extra few days, which isn't the worst thing in the world.
Dude,
so
there you go, man. Push it back a few.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what we're thinking about. So we're making some plans.
So what's going on in Vegas? You guys doing a digital marketing thing?
No, it's my 30th birthday was yesterday. So
happy birthday, man.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. So we decided to just go to. It's one. I've been able to travel the world pretty frequently, and I've been to a lot of places. Vegas, probably domestically, other than like Boston, where I went to school, and New Jersey, where I grew up, probably the place I've been to most. So we love the Cosmo over there. It's just a fun place. Like, it's not even, we don't even gamble that much. I like to play craps. My wife and I, there's shows, food. It's just good energy. It's like just a place you go to and you can feel the energy there, which is something that we love.
Oh, 100%. That's awesome. All right. So I got a chance to meet you back in Orlando. What was it now? Almost like a month ago or something like that?
Yeah, I think about a month. Yeah.
Okay. So, and I didn't really know much about you other than you walked on stage and just were dropping golden nuggets left and right. So for those that aren't too familiar with the digital marketing, really in the paid traffic. So can you kind of give us just give us some of your background, right? So what are you into now? And then kind of where did all that start and how did it come to fruition?
Sure. So right now I run a company called Unicorn Innovations with my business partner, Jeremy Adams. We've run it for about 2 years now. And basically we have a consulting business where we run traffic. We advise at a strategic level for bigger companies. We have a training business where we have our info products, courses, all that good stuff. And then we also have gotten more into building our own assets. So we're actually working on our own properties instead of growing on people's businesses. So we have a unicorn wealth business, which is kind of a financial info product business, content business about the stock market trading. And then we have unicorn politics, which is similar model, content community commerce, but in the political space. I got started my first company while I was still in school, when I was in college. Started it with my good friend from school. It was a company called the Daily 100 at the time. We had this is almost a decade ago. We had a mobile app that started in the University of Florida in Gainesville, and we gave away $100 cash every day to the person on the app that took the basically the craziest photo. We had a sponsored contest every day. So we'd have like the local Domino's, local businesses, and people take a crazy picture. Eventually that developed into more of a kind of influencer marketing platform for businesses to connect with like long tail influencers. We had a micro reward platform. We raised a lot of venture capital funding, grew it, ran that for about 3 years. Then I got kind of into eComm at the end of that. Silicon Valley is weird. If you're not like in that world, it just seems like crazy from the outside. You hear about like Mark Zuckerberg and these crazy growth stories. It's just an anomaly. You have all these really smart people who are trying to create the next big thing. And the mindset there is product and user growth, like technology and user growth, essentially, not making money, right? So making money is the secondary thing. It's like once you have the users and the technology, then you'll be able to make money. For most people, it doesn't work that way, right? So we went and did that. We raised lots and lots of money, and you focus on acquiring users and building the platform. We had 500,000 users on our app, and we raised millions of dollars venture capital funding. But we started figuring out the revenue model 2 years in, and there's a disconnect. And so when I got out of that business, I was like, I don't want to do that again, right? It's really stressful running a company where every day your bank balance is only going this way.
Yeah, that's got to be interesting.
Yeah, you have your, payroll, you have team members, employees, and every 2 weeks, a big chunk's coming out, and it's not going up, right? Unless you raise more money, and you're constantly on the road, you're constantly traveling, going from investor to investor, trying to sell basically your vision and get them to buy into you.
Sure.
And it's it's crazy. So I decided, with eComm, I got out of it. I was like, this is pretty cool. I can start something, and I don't need to have investors. I don't need to raise money. And my wife just walked in, so our little dog, she goes crazy. She walks in. I usually bark too when she comes in, but I didn't this time.
You too.
So yeah, it's just occasionally. And so I was like, this is cool. This whole print on demand thing was starting to become big. I was like, wait, I can put t-shirt designs up and market them and sell them, but I don't actually have to make the shirts or touch the shirts, and I just make money. It was crazy for me. And so I started my first store called startupdrugs.com, which we actually just sold a few months ago, which is pretty fun. It was my first baby in the industry, like store wise.
Wow. Congratulations.
And it's basically like entrepreneurial t-shirts, right? It was just a silly, goofy idea. Put entrepreneurial sayings on t-shirts and sell them. We built a really great brand, a really great culture. And that grew, and I kind of got into Facebook ads because of that. That was the platform that just connected for me. I was on it early on. And one thing led to another. Met my business partner, Jeremy. He had just started talking with Kevin Harrington. And, Kevin was the first shark on Shark Tank, invented the infomercial, last thing on TV, big figure in the business world. We started running ads for him. Eventually he said, hey guys, I get pitched every day, dozens of companies. They all want digital. They all need marketing help.
Sure.
Why don't we just start a company together? And so we started an agency called Quantum Media. It was a full service marketing agency. We ran that for a year and a half, worked with dozens and dozens and dozens of product companies at all stages of growth, worked with some public companies. We also launched internal offers. We launched our Trump coin offer in 2016, which is a really big one that kind of put us on the map in the marketing world. Okay. We sold almost $5 million worth of coins. I don't know if I have any on me. Coins and bills. We have this is the Melania bill. It's actually US currency. So
that's badass, dude.
Yeah, that kind of put us on the map. Towards the end of that, we had just differing goals. Kevin was, he's already done it. He sold $4.5 billion of products. The guy is a legend. He's here in his career. We're down here, and we just had different places we wanted to go and different drivers. So we said, let's split up. We're going to start Unicorn. We'll still work together. We still run Kevin's ads. We actually now he basically partnered with the Zig Ziglar family and got the license for that to run all of Zig Ziglar obviously passed away, but he still has all of his family and his courses and training. Sure. So we run all the ads now for Kevin and the Ziglar estate. Started Unicorn, got into the course business, launched our first course about 2 years ago. That did, $1 million in profit. We had 4,000 students come in through that. And, the last year and a half has been crazy. I've gotten to travel the world, gotten to speak on the biggest stages, getting to do masterminds with people that, 2 years ago, I would love to even that they knew my name, and now to do business with them and get to hang out with them. And it's pretty crazy. And then on the personal side, it's, I got married in November.
Congrats on that, dude. You got a bunch of fun stuff happening.
Yeah. And so it's the personal life's great. Larissa and I are getting to kind of take the next step in our lives and start the family process, which is incredible. And business things are going great. So yeah, that's Max in 5 minutes. The best
bro. So that is just awe-inspiring, super impressive. And so I'm 31. So, I can totally relate to where you're sitting with, the family and everything else. Hey, how long you guys been together for?
Over 5 years.
Okay. Jess and I are actually now going on 5 in November. So right around that same time frame. You guys going for any little ones, or you have a little one on the way, or?
We're working. It's the process has started. So we got the app now and the vitamin, everything. So we're in process.
Work in progress. Just to top off the family. Well, dude, that is super cool. So you have all these things that are happening for you. Just so out of curiosity, so obviously, you have this entire long journey. This has been, what was that? Probably 10 years in the making from the time you had started multiple companies, so on and so forth. What was that initial drive, right? Because you see a guy, young guy, super successful, seems like he's got all this shit going on. What first got you in the mode of, let's start an app, let's make this happen? Where did that stem from?
Sure. So I'm incredibly lucky. Most, most people, especially in our world, in the entrepreneur world, like, they come from nothing. It's like they start and they just have no guidance. They have no mentorship. They have no support. I came from a family of entrepreneurs.
Oh, did you really? Okay.
Yeah. So, I didn't come from like a super wealthy family. I had a really interesting when I was born timing wise. Cause I got to see my dad like go from kind of the process I'm going to, like really like struggling, kind of starting and then seeing the success. And I like was living through that as a kid, which is really cool. So my grandpa was a real estate developer. He built most of the townhomes in northern Jersey and eastern Pennsylvania. He came up with the he was an incredibly brilliant guy. He came up with the first idea for like a planned community. Now it's just like obvious. We all like, you go to, you move into a community and there's like a supermarket, school, everything's like built on the community. But like 50, 60 years ago, that wasn't a thing. It wasn't like there weren't planned developments. He like kind of came up with that entire concept and started building those and sold his real estate development company and could have retired when he was probably in his 40s, but started a company. Basically the idea was a network of commercial real estate companies. So every town, city has a commercial real estate office, brokers and stuff. But there was no national brand. Like there's Remax and Coldwell Banker for residential. So let me start something. So he created a company called New American Network, got a few people on board, and that eventually grew. My dad took it over and it became NAI Global, New American International, which now has, we sold it in 2012. My dad sold it. But it's 375 offices in 55 countries.
Jesus, dude.
And so it's still cool to drive in most cities you live in. Like you'll drive and you'll see an NAI Fenley sign or NAI Hertz, or there's, different office there. So it's, I kind of got to experience that and see the growth of us. When I was first born to like 10, 12, we lived in a really small, tiny little house. And then, my dad's office at the time was this just awful, like one-story wooden. It was in the back of a Nissan dealership.
Oh my God. That's funny.
It was terrible, it was small. And my grandpa ended up doing a deal with like the Nissan dealership guy to get more space. He like let them park their cars in our lot, and he traded like a 350Z, which just came out at the time, which I thought was the coolest car in the world. And then they, moved and upgraded to this beautiful, headquarters in Princeton, New Jersey. And, we bought a much bigger house. And so I got to just see that, but also the challenges. So the recession, 2008, 2009 hit real estate the hardest.
Sure.
So, the company almost went bankrupt. I almost saw my dad lose everything that he had built. And then obviously he turned around and sold it. But yeah, I had that like as guidance,
that's a hell of a blueprint.
Yeah. I didn't have another example of like, this is, you go and you work for somebody for 40 years and you retire. That wasn't it was, you start something, you take like really, really big risks, and there's big rewards, but there's also everyone else comes first. And just like the work ethic that comes with that, like the balancing of the personal and the professional. My dad had to travel a lot, but he always made time for us. So yeah, I mean, I was lucky to have that, but I also knew like I didn't want to do real estate. I knew that pretty early on, that I didn't want to do commercial or anything real estate, but I got involved in marketing. So I got to kind of 2007 start, dabbling in social media marketing, SEO, back when it was like called Web 2.0, and got my feet wet there and got some experience in the real estate world from a marketing perspective. But yeah, so that's kind of where I started in terms of just mindset wise and exposure and how I even thought about, doing my own thing. Like it wasn't another path for me. Like, maybe I would have done investment banking or management consulting. That was the only other option at the time. That's what most of my buddies, like, they work on Wall Street or they are lawyers. But like, I just couldn't do it, man. And I know we have, tons of topics to talk about and tons of questions for me, but like, I understood it for our parents' generation or our grandparents' generation, because they saw and they lived it. Like, hey, you go and you work for a company and you bust your ass for 40 years and you work the 9 to 5, and then you retire and you're taken care of. Like, that made sense. You were trading essentially freedom for security. Yeah. But after like 2008, 2009, like that all went out the window, because people that were banking on those pensions and 401ks, it evaporated.
Sure.
So now it's like, I don't understand it. It's almost, to me, seems riskier to go and work for somebody else, because you don't have that security blanket anymore. You've seen it just get evaporated with the parents.
Mm-hmm.
You see like 80-year-olds bagging groceries now at Target and Walmart because their retirement just disappeared.
Yeah, they don't have an option.
Yeah. You don't have the freedom. You don't have the flexibility. And for me, it's like, you focus a lot. Before I had money, it's like when you're struggling, you're focused on money. And then when you have that, then it's all of a sudden like you realize money's not that important. It's about like the freedom and the time. And that's, at the end of the day, that's everything.
Let's talk about that for 2 seconds, because there's one piece. So the students that I've got in the beta group right now, and I remember I brought this up when we were at Orlando, and one of the biggest pieces of advice that I had gotten, just talking to you and a couple of the other guys that are on the panel, was like, go out and start a beta group. So 2 of those pieces, one is a money management, one is time management, and then the other one's mindset. So it's super funny, because you're saying exactly what every other person says when they reach that level of success is, first you have that money drive, and then once you get it, then it's a complete shift. So can you talk a little bit about the mindset that it goes from? And my biggest thing is your mindset and the way you look at things makes all the difference in the world.
Oh, totally.
So kind of give us that mindset of what do you need to have in place while you're hustling, and then what do you need to have in place once you've got it?
Sure. I think the like thinking a step ahead, in the sense that what ends up happening, what I see, and when I see this, I mean, I dealt with this personally and still struggle with this to an extent in some of our businesses. If you're so focused on money as the primary goal, you make decisions strategically for your business that are going to make it difficult when you do get the money to stop being an employee of your business, right? My friend, like Deepesh Mandalia, who I was talking on live I was doing, he said something really great, which is basically, a lot of entrepreneurs think they're entrepreneurs, but if you're attached to your business, meaning like you can't just go away for a week and that you need to be in the office 9 to 5 every day, you're just an employee.
So you're working in your business, not on your business.
Yeah. And so what ends up happening is a lot of people get into the business and they're doing agency, right? And it's a one-man agency, and they're just, fulfilling services, and they're getting paid. And maybe they're going from making nothing to now they're doing $8,000 a month, let's say. And for a lot of people, if it's just you and it's just coming to you, like, $8,000 a month is a great, that's, you don't have to worry about money, like month to month, right? Sure. You're not like wealthy, but for most people, that's, well above, the average income. The problem is, now, what do you do? Because now you built a business that's dependent on you doing all the work, right? It's very, very difficult to scale that. It's very difficult now to take yourself out of the equation, so you have the freedom and the time without now going back to zero, because you haven't built an asset, right? And so it's, I think from a mindset perspective, it's like, if you're going into it and don't have the money yet, I think it's important to look at opportunities where you can build an asset that there's a clear path to removing you from running that asset. So you can move over here and keep working on other things, and this doesn't go to zero, right? Like most dropshipping, it's almost all the businesses that people are starting right now are like labor intensive, unsellable businesses, right? Like even most dropshipping businesses people are starting, they're 100% dependent on Facebook traffic. They have no brand. They have no community. They have no list. They have no audience. And so as soon as they stop spending money on Facebook ads, sales go to zero. Right. And nobody wants to buy that. Right. So they need to keep running it and working on it. They have nothing that's an asset. And so our shift mindset wise has been, okay, like once we made the money, now let's build some things. Let's build internal properties that we can set the foundation, build a team around, grow it while we're over here. And if we want to, we can sell it, or we can just have it keep running and growing. And it's something that generates passive income. I think that's, the difference between like earned income and passive income is another really big one, right? Like earned income is you go to the office every day, 9 to 5. And if you don't go to the office, you don't make money, right? That's earned income. You got to work for it. Sure. Like passive income is, and I know this, obviously, I'm just saying for everyone, like I have these things that I've set up over here, whether it's kind of real estate or whether it's investments I made in different companies that are giving me money every month without my work, essentially. And it's very difficult to teach people to think that way when they don't have money. And I don't know the right way to do it because I didn't do it. And so it's hard for me to think back in my mindset of what somebody could have told me to make me think big picture. Because the challenge is like, if you don't know where rent's coming from this month, it's almost impossible for a human being to think big picture. You get into this survival mode. It's like the Maslow's hierarchy where you're focused on my immediate survival. I need food, I need shelter. And if I don't have that, I can't think about anything else. And obviously there's a lot of places you can take this discussion in terms of, universal basic income. There's a lot of proposals out there of how to deal with that. I believe personally that if you take away somebody's like base needs, right? Like whether it's $2,000 or $3,000 a month, sure, you're gonna have people that are going to just sit on their ass and do nothing. But a lot of people, like, it totally changes the way they can think about their life and plan their life and the things they can do because they no longer are burdened by just the immediate survival mechanism that triggers. But yeah, I mean, mindset wise, I think like it's hard to overcome your natural instincts, but if you can, like, that's the way you should be thinking, because you need to assume that you're going to get to that point. You're going to hit that goal. I'm going to make whatever that number is, 5,000 a month, 10,000 a month, 20,000 a month. I'm going to get there. I need to plan for when I do get there so I'm not trapped and I don't just stay there forever because I kind of went down an avenue that has no exit.
Yeah. And so here's the reason I harp on that. So obviously, digital marketing, paid traffic is your biggest thing. But I like to throw in a couple golden nuggets, and being that you're at where you're at, how successful you've gotten at the age you're at, one of the things that even if you want to try and get to the level of what you've done, there's that certain mentality that you got to sometimes just flip. There's got to be a switch. There's got to be a way you're going to approach it. So even if you say, hey, I want to be the best digital marketer or, rock it with paid traffic, you need to have that strategy set up the right way. And you, in essence, have been able to do that. So, that's why I want you to be able to share it. And I'm sure, people are super appreciative of it. So you focus on the digital marketing specifically with Unicorn. That's your biggest focus, paid traffic, digital media, the whole 9 yards, correct?
Pretty much. I mean, the thing is, like, what you learn is there's so much that goes into like growing a business, right? Especially when you're building your own assets, like Unicorn Politics, Unicorn Wealth and stuff. Like, marketing gets you to a place, like, sure, you can get to a certain revenue goal or certain size of a business with a crap product, terrible customer experience. If you're just really good at marketing, you can maybe get to a little, see some success, and plenty of people do that. But to like really build a business, it's so much bigger than just marketing. It's the whole customer experience, the product quality, the pack. I mean, there's so many touch points that are going to drive whether you're going to be successful or not. So yeah, I mean, marketing is our main focus, digital marketing, specifically paid traffic, but we've had to become involved in a lot of different areas and partner with a lot of different people to make sure that we can actually build businesses that are going to keep growing and not just hit a ceiling and be a $1 million year business and never grow past that because all you're doing is just really good at running Facebook ads to a webinar. You get people in there and then nobody buys anything ever again, and there's bad word of mouth and everything else sucks.
Got it. So is your main focus, so is it Facebook only, or is it also Google, LinkedIn, YouTube? Like, what are the major ones that you prefer to hit?
I mean, internally we do. I mean, we have partners and members of our team that can do everything because diversification is huge. And so it's everything that we do now is built around like 3 core tenets of having content, community, and commerce. Those are kind of 3 pillars. And within all of those, there's diversification. In terms of where that commerce comes from, our revenue streams, in terms of having physical products, having info products, having affiliate offers, sponsorships. There's a lot of different ways to generate income in these properties. And then same thing with the traffic side of it. There's so much beyond Facebook, and it, I kind of got known for Facebook, but it's like I have friends that are crushing it doing influencer marketing. I have friends that there's a guy down here in Central Florida, Robert Palmer, who runs a company, RP Funding, which is a mortgage origination company, and Listing Power Tools, he's basically a vertically integrated real estate company on the marketing side. The dude personally made like $34 million last year. He does billboards. Yeah. He does billboards. He does direct mail. He
Okay.
does TV. Like young guy, super digitally savvy. They run online stuff, but for him, for his business, radio kills it. Billboards kill it. Direct mail kills it. Right. So I think everyone thinks they need to do Facebook because that's the thing. Right. And at the end of the day, the thing should be being able to reach the right person at the right time with the right message. And there's a lot of ways to do that. In some ways are way more cost effective now than Facebook.
Okay. So like right off the bat, if, let's go into because you mentioned 3, you said it was content, community, and what was the other one? Commerce. So can you dive a little bit into that? So you teach that in your course, correct?
Yep.
Okay. So if somebody got into that and they said, all right, you talk about these 3 pillars. Can you dive a little bit and go a little bit deeper into each one of those so, we have a understanding?
Yeah. I mean, I really picked this up from, we worked with Perry Belcher for a while. He's one of the founders of Digital Marketer. Him and Ryan Dice founded Digital Marketer. And then Roland Fraser came in and they have War Room and Traffic Conversion, the biggest marketing event in the world. We ran all their ads for Rival Media, one of their companies that owned all their website properties, survivallife.com and a lot of those big websites. Mm-hmm. And that was one of the first things he told us that's his key to success when we went to his house in Vegas like 2 years ago, was having those pillars. And ever since then, it just really stuck to me. And every person that I look up to from like a mentor perspective has told me something similar. It's like Topher Grant, who is one of the founders of GiddyUp, which is one of the biggest affiliate networks, said the same thing. And so basically the point of it is most people getting into our space are trying to get into, print on demand, drop shipping, affiliate marketing. It's all focused on commerce. And that means you're just trying to get people from here to buy something. Mm-hmm. Facebook to Shopify, Facebook to ClickFunnels, buy something and repeat, rinse, repeat, rinse, repeat. There isn't a single Fortune 500 consumer brand that operates that way, right? So Apple, Nike, Under Armour, Disney, you can go down the list of all the biggest, most iconic consumer brands. None of them operate in that rinse repeat model where it's just first time customer. They all have community. They all have content, right? And so that's our thing now. It's like, okay, if you can build a tribe, if you can provide valuable content on a regular basis, if you can entertain, if you can educate, if you can engage, and you can build community around that content of people that trust you, that look at you as a reliable and authoritative voice in an industry specific vertical, commerce becomes really easy, right? And so the mistake I see most people making is, especially like affiliate marketers and stuff, they pick products and then decide to market them instead of picking like industries or verticals and then going to products, right? So they see like, this is a hot offer, people are promoting, here's the CPA they're going to pay me. I'm just going to start now advertising it to this audience on Facebook. Well, if you had first said, listen, I'm really passionate about politics. I'm really passionate about consumer electronics. I'm really passionate about cars, and build a content site where you're sharing your passion with blog posts and videos and building community. Now you can find tons of offers around electronics, around cars, around travel, whatever it might be, to now bring into your community. So monetization becomes a lot easier if you have a lot of different, things you can sell, and you have a community that's already engaged. And so there's there's so many examples of people that have done this right. Like the Points guy, for example, is one of the probably one of the top travel bloggers out there. The guy started a travel blog like 15 years ago, sharing his tips of how to get the best flight deals and how to game kind of the point system on credit cards. He crushes it now because now he has all kinds of credit card offers when he's saying, here's the 5 best, the 5 best credit cards to use for travel. Each one of them pays him, $200 to $500 per sign up, right? But it's value. It's not him selling. He's not like running ads. It's like sign up for Amex, sign up for Chase. Like that's not how he started. It was, let me help you with traveling. Let me give you advice. Let me give you hacks. And then it becomes natural to work in, sponsorships and monetization without it feeling like a blatant ad where this person is just trying to sell me crap. It's no, they provided value. They're continuing to provide value, but now the way that they're providing value can be monetized. So it's in my opinion, just like a totally different way to like think about building a company if you include other elements and if you kind of put the community content before the commerce. The economics of it changed, the ease of launch change. Obviously it's more work up front, and a lot of people aren't as patient to build something and foster it. And like, what are the plans, right? But that's way more scalable. It's way more sustainable. It's way more monetizable and sellable. If that's what your goal is, to actually build something you could sell one day and get a good chunk of money.
Yeah, so pretty much just like community. So you wind up creating this group of people that just, they know, they like, and they trust you. And when you know and you like and you trust somebody, it's kind of like, like my mom, she keeps going back to this same car guy just over and over and over, because she's bought so many cars from him that the second he goes and recommends it or says, hey, we got this model, it's a no-brainer, because, you know the guy. You know what he's up for.
Exactly.
He's not just trying to sell you random shit off the street. And then that kind of goes into, even just, being part of like Rachel Lee's course, where she can shoot out one email, shoot out one video, and then have, 15 people go over to, Doug's new sales funnel mastery course and just buy it because she recommended it. Right. So it's same thing.
It's all built on trust. It's, at the end of the day, like, people buy things from people that they trust, or, they buy it from people that recommend something. Right. And that they trust that person that recommended it. That's why like word of mouth marketing is still the most effective form of marketing, and they'll never change. Mm-hmm. Right. It's still a friend telling a friend about something is always going to hold more weight than any type of advertising that any brand can do.
Yeah. So, and because I remember, I took a ton of notes over the couple of days that we did in Orlando, and jog my memory, I think this was yours, because you guys were talking about how you run solid Facebook ads and what you see a lot of people do in terms of mistakes, and then the right way to do it. So, and correct me if I'm wrong if this wasn't you, because I know that we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but people will just take it and say, come buy my shit. They'll put a link to the bottom of it. You got a picture of it, and then you try and put them towards a sales page and go. But there's no giving. There's no reciprocity. It's all literally just, take, come check out my stuff. I'm interested in buy it. And then I believe your methodology was more, you'll put out a quiz or a questionnaire, or, how can we help, provide or serve and, give you some service or give an answer to you, where you can actually get them in, engage them with the content. And then once you got them there, possibly, provide something on the back end. Was that the overall kind of?
Yeah, I mean, exactly. Why would people buy Purple mattresses or Casper mattresses? Like, it's amazing that you think about the mattress industry. It is so boring. It's an incredibly boring industry. Well, it's at least historically been a boring industry. Yet it might be one of, if not the most important purchase that people make, right? You spend probably more time using that product than any other product you own, other than maybe your phone, right? You spend 6 to 8 hours every single day using that product, but nobody cares about it, right? And you go to any mattress store in the world at any time of day, and you'll see one guy standing in there, and they'll be empty. I don't care what mattress store it is. Nobody goes to the mattress store because it's just a bunch of products nobody cares about, brands nobody cares about. Purple and Casper came out, not super revolutionary products. They didn't like reinvent the mattress per se. They're great products. They have some unique features, right? The buying process is a little different, but what really separated them was their branding, right? Purple came out and said they realized that nobody ever got excited to see a mattress ad or see a mattress being sold to them. What if we change that? What if we turn this into entertainment, education, and made something engaging? So let's hire the Harmon brothers. We'll pay them $250,000, and we'll shoot a ton of these incredible videos that are funny. They're viral. They're dropping plate glass onto their mattress with eggs under it, and the eggs don't, like, crazy stuff. Okay. And people watch it tens and tens of millions of times. People are talking about the brand. It's a fun brand. It's engaging. And so a mattress is a purchase people don't make every day or every week or even every year. But when people do go to make that purchase and they see all the list of brands, who do you think they're going to buy from? They're going to buy from the brand that they've been seeing, that's entertained them, it's provided value. They built a relationship with it. And that's like absolutely critical. And that's why a lot of the big brands, whether it's Nike or Under Armour or Disney, like most of the ads they run, at least the ones you see on TV and stuff, like don't actually sell anything. Right? It might feature a product, but there's no like buy now, get today, discount. Like you don't see anything like you see in our industry, our kind of little bubble, right? Most of their ads, like Nike and stuff, Under Armour, are just inspirational, motivational videos featuring famous athletes, like just They're featuring like what the brand's like soul, the embodiment of the brand, and it's entertaining, it's engaging. People enjoy seeing it, and it builds recognition of the brand over time. Every ad they see, day after day, week after week, year after year, they're getting more indoctrinated into the brand. So when the point of purchase comes up, because most people, when they buy things, they're just like impulse buys happen, right? People get sold.
Yeah.
But a lot of purchases happen because people they have a problem, they're going to solve it. They go to Google, they go to Amazon, they go to the store, and now they have an intent. I need deodorant. I need a new razor. I need batteries, whatever it might be.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to look at a shelf of things or a big Amazon page, and they're going to look at a few things. And one of the biggest things they're going to register is, do I recognize the brand, right? What does buying this say? Like, what does this brand mean? Is it cool?
How does it make you feel?
Yeah, exactly. How does it make me feel? I mean, that's why people buy things based on packaging. Like there's so many irrational things that consumers do when making a buying decision. But a lot of it's about feel, right? It's just, what do you think about a product? What do you think that product says about you, right? The association you have with that product.
Mm-hmm.
All of that has an impact on the buying decision. And so it can't just be the entire interaction between you and your potential customer can't just be you selling them stuff, right?
Okay.
That's just not marketing.
So taking that into consideration, let's bring it down to the very base level. Let's just say we've got an entrepreneur starting off, maybe has a program going or has a product, and they say, okay, well, it's great. I got everything squared away. I've got people that I know want to buy it, but now I really want to start hitting that digital marketing side so I can scale this, I can grow it, I can promote it, so on and so forth. So what would you recommend to the guy who's probably got a ton of questions of, A, how do I choose which platform to pick? Do I do YouTube videos? Do I do Facebook stuff? Should I put it on Google? Should I do LinkedIn? B, should I do it all myself? Should I get a marketing agency? And then if I do decide to do it this way, how much money should I put? So like all the general questions, is there a one catch-all phrase that you would recommend for the guy who's relatively new, relatively small budget, but wants to be as effective as possible? Like, what's the approach that you'd recommend?
So
I know it's a loaded question.
Yeah, no. So the answer is going to be probably the one that most people expect, which is that it entirely depends on what you're selling. It depends on what industry you're in. It depends on, are you doing this because you're passionate about it and you love it, or are you doing it because you just want to make money quick? Like there are so many additional follow-up questions that need to be taken into account. Mm-hmm. What I would say is, I think there's a lot of merit. I think a lot of people want to rush into Facebook ads and just running traffic to things. And sure, if you have a lot of money and you can afford to test aggressively, that might shorten the window, the testing. But like when I launched Startup Drugs, I didn't have money for Facebook ads right out of the gate. And so I had to like hustle. I was putting it on like Product Hunt. I was putting on all these free sites to get, exposure. I was tweeting, different famous entrepreneurs. I was like hitting organic social really hard. I was just putting the brand out there in every channel I could think of. And I still think that's a very valid strategy for a number of reasons. One, it's free, which is great when you're getting started. Two, it helps you figure things out. Mm-hmm. and continue to iterate and improve your landing pages, your messaging, your branding, identify what's really working, what's resonating with people, what imagery is resonating, what tone's resonating, what product is really taking off before you start pumping money to pay traffic, right? Because a lot of people pump money to pay traffic well before their offer is ready for ads, right? Their landing page sucks. Their follow-up sequence sucks. Their pricing, they haven't figured that out. They could be totally off pricing wise. There are so many things that need to be fully fleshed out before you think about really starting to send lots of people. Because once you've opened the doors and opened the floodgates, mm-hmm. there's no takebacks, right? So once you've messed up, you don't get a redo.
It's out there.
And so, yeah. And so sometimes rushing into things can be really harmful because you can make some big mistakes and make very big public mistakes. Whereas if you just start a little slower and more organically, even if you have slips here or there, it's in a much smaller scale. And you figure those things out before you kind of open the floodgates to everybody. So, I would say like working really small, working the organic social media side, beginning to hit up influencers, doing outreach, looking at sites like Product Hunt. There's a lot of sites out there, Reddit, where you can solicit feedback. You can engage with the community.
Mm-hmm.
I think the other thing to consider is this is where the content play and the community play comes into it, is beginning to build a brand behind content before the product, right? So if you're selling, stress relief products like squishy, stuff like that, instead of just going right out there and starting to hit ads, sell this, maybe you start a podcast or YouTube channel where you share, you talk to people that have dealt with crazy anxiety throughout their life,
Mm-hmm.
or you share stress relief tips, or you start a yoga channel, or I don't know. There's a dozen things you could do, from serious to funny and engaging, and start putting out content every single day, building a community around that. Now you have data, you have eyeballs, you have a community that you can release a product into and get feedback, you get testimonials, you get
Mm-hmm.
UGC. That makes the paid traffic process a lot easier than just going in cold without having any idea really what you should be doing, which is unfortunately what most people do. And the second point would be the irony, and it's frustrating to an extent as somebody that's been on both sides and now teaches, is the people who need coaching and mentorship and
Mm-hmm.
training the most are the people who can usually not afford it. And that's a very, very frustrating thing. It's like the people that should be joining, training programs and buying courses and joining masterminds and stuff are the people just getting started, because they're the ones that are going to make the most mistakes. That's the people that are going to take the longest amount of time to figure stuff out, because they're going to be stumbling around in the dark. They're not going to know who to trust. They're going to be, watching YouTube video after YouTube video, listening, reading article after article without knowing who these people are. Like, is it legit? There's no context behind it. But if I could go back in time, I would 100% have, invested in a coach. I would have invested in a mastermind. I would have invested in more courses and trainings. The irony now is that we spend way more money as a company in all those things, and we make way more money ever since we started doing that. So it's something that I would recommend if you're getting started, is to seek out a community. It's not a plug for me, 'cause there's a lot of great people out there that I learn from and I invest in, but I think that's something that more new entrepreneurs, people getting into the industry, should be considering, and they should be budgeting. I would rather somebody, instead of jumping into Facebook ads with $2,000 a month, go find, a few courses out there that you can get for that $2,000, or go get a mentor or a coach, or join a mastermind for $1,000 a month, $2,000 a month. You're going to get more value from that than you are from spending on Facebook ads that early on.
So
And that's my 2 cents on it.
No, I love it, man. So funny enough, if I can touch on those two things. So a beta group and then the coaching. So a beta group right now, I'm to the point with the folks that are actually in my beta group where I'm having them do the same exact thing. I'm like, look, come up with your 30-second pitch. What are you most solidly focused on? What do you want to bring to the marketplace? What does a program look like? What's your system look like? And then get people in there, right? Put them in a Facebook group. Say, hey, will you go through this? Will you test this for me? Will you stress test my systems? Will you tell me what you love? Tell me what you don't love? And then start building this thing up so that when you want to bring it to the marketplace, now you can say, look, I helped, Johnny go from A to Z. Here's his results. Here's his successes. And the other thing I told him on top of that was, especially for myself, I've poured, I don't know, thousands of dollars, which I'm sure you've probably done as well, into your own personal growth, your own personal coaching. And, did I have the money at the time? No. But I've also learned from every other guy that's done super successful, they didn't have the money either. But They went anyways, and they totally spent it. I know Tony Robbins talks about it all the time in his stuff. He spent whatever it was, like 2 weeks worth of a salary to go to a seminar, and it's one of the best things he ever did. And it's been the same thing for me. So
it's an investment, right?
Right.
That's the mindset shift again from the masses and the 1%, right? Is viewing the difference between expenses and investments, right? A lot of there's a huge disconnect in just the way people think about money, and a lot of it has to do with the education system, how we're taught about money. We're taught about debt is bad. We're taught that liabilities are bad, and we're taught that things like houses and assets are good. But at the end of the day, your car and your home and these things are not going to make you money. it's going to take money from every month, right? Like debt, for example, if it's used correctly, can make it's basically having money work for you instead of you working for money. And that's like a Robert Kiyosaki thing.
Sure.
But it's such an important shift in thinking. If you think, hey, yeah, maybe $2,000 a month or $1,000 for this course, it's a lot of money. But think about where you're spending your money every day, right? You're getting, going to Starbucks for $5 here, $5 there, $10 here. You can quickly add up things that are that money's never coming back to you, right? And an investment is, hey, I'm putting money to work. I'm putting money into this. And in return, I am getting a shortcut. In return, whether it's a course or whether it's a mentor, whether it's a mastermind, I'm getting relationships. I'm getting knowledge. I'm getting connections. These things that I'm getting, that's going to shrink my window to success. It's going to help me, make less expensive mistakes. And that's another big thing is it's guaranteed if you are just going in blind, you are going to make mistakes that will cost you a lot of money and will cost you a lot of time. And if I look back on that, and I one day I'll have to tally up the amount of money I think I lost. Big mistakes but it's excessive.
Tens of thousands of dollars.
Yeah. I guarantee you, if you value the way my way I work, like value my time nowadays, hourly and stuff, yeah, I just a stupid amount of money that was wasted because I tried to do it myself and was stubborn for years and years and years. But yeah, it's amazing what happens when you start looking at like expenses versus investments, start investing in yourself. It seems scary at first, but it's the only way you can truly like get that ramp up here and really start growing and not kind of stay on the steady flat line.
Yeah. So, and one of the biggest things I try and do through this podcast is be a conduit of just, awesome people with awesome nuggets, with awesome programs. So the program that you have, can you talk to us? What's the name of it? Tell us a little bit about it. What's the expectations? What does that look like? If someone says, I really want to learn digital marketing, I really want to learn paid traffic, what can they expect?
Sure. So I think the first thing is like, I would say, unlike most info product marketers, people in the info product space, this is a passion for us. Like a lot of people do info products. That's the way they make money. Like they're info product entrepreneurs. They don't do anything else. They just sell courses and sell trainings. That's 100% of their income. We're running ads for people all day long. We're building businesses. We're investing our own cash into things. Like me teaching and coaching is something I genuinely love doing. And I have fun doing it. It's rewarding for me, which is very different. So paid traffic training is our new program. It's a monthly program. We decided, again, to kind of shake things up. Everyone's doing one-time courses where it's $9.97 or $19.97, whatever it is, and you get a bunch of videos. The problem with that is like the person makes a course, invests 3 months of their time, does a launch, sells a bunch of people, and they move on to the next thing. The next course they can sell for $9.97, right? Because that's how they make money. The other big problem is $9.97 for a lot of people, again, the people that need it the most, is a big investment to make. There's a lot of seeming risk there of how I can make that money back. So we decided to change things up and do more of a subscription program. So instead of doing $9.97, we switched it and we did $97 a month with no contracts where you can cancel at any time to basically make it as risk-free as possible. And essentially it's like, and I'll get into the details of the program, but there's no possible scenario if you actually show up to the trainings and consume the content where you don't generate an ROI of $97 a month. There's not a feasible scenario with that investment. So essentially for $97, you get access to my original Facebook course, and now has 100 hours of content in it. All the stuff that's no longer relevant has been removed. It's all strategies that we still use. You get my brand new course. You get access to our private group. You get access to 2 90-minute live trainings, basically coaching calls a month with me. We just actually wrapped one about an hour ago where you can get your questions answered. You can bring your ads, your landing pages, your funnels, anything you're running, bring it to me and say, hey, this is what we're running. What do you think? And get personalized feedback, critique, audits, essentially.
Wow.
Then you can go make the changes, come back the next call. Plus there's all kinds of other bonuses in there. Like every mastermind I've done, there all kinds of cool stuff, worksheets and checklists and swipe files. So essentially made a program that we should be charging a lot more for.
Mhm.
And we made it affordable for really anybody, wherever you're at in your career. We have people that have never spent $1 on Facebook ads that are just thinking about getting started. We have people that have spent 8 figures on Facebook ads in the program, and they're all getting value out of it because there's personalization. And I think I'm not like, if you want to join paid traffic training, that's awesome. We'd love to have you. But the reality is there's a lot of great people to learn from out there. There's a lot of great coaches out there. There's a lot of great people out there. I invest in a lot of other people, right? What I would say is, for anybody that's listening to this and thinking about investing in a program, the thing that you should do when you're looking at these programs and considering ones to invest in is, will there be a level of accountability from the person who created this, right? So am I going to be just another number with zero support, zero guidance, and it's basically just, here's videos. I don't care how good the videos are or training lessons are. Or is there community, and is there coaching and mentorship and guidance? And if you don't have those things, it's the wrong program. Because there's never, in my opinion, been a person for anything they wanted to accomplish, whether it's building wealth, whether it's getting in shape, whatever it might be, that's been able to read a book or watch videos and all of a sudden master that, right? Like, if I wanted to just get totally jacked, I wouldn't just go watch a bunch of videos of guys doing bench presses and showing workouts, right? No, I'd have to watch the videos to learn the different workouts and stuff and the routines. But then I'd also have to go to the gym, and I have to work with somebody who has to walk me through the program, make sure they show me the right way to do things so I don't injure myself. Same thing with losing weight, right? The diet. You can't just read a book about healthy food and all of a sudden you lose weight. It's the same thing with investing. You can't just read a book about trading and people that make money and your portfolio goes up. All these things, same thing with ads and what we do. You need to have the lessons and the strategy, but without implementation and coaching and accountability, you don't get results. That's just a fact.
Yeah, 100%. So what I'm going to do is, in the show notes, I'll make sure that we get a link to your course specifically. So for those that actually want to take advantage and they say, look, 97 is certainly worth the investment on a monthly basis, I would love for them to be able to connect with you. And then especially, guys, if you're listening to this right now, if you understood the kind of clientele that Max and Jeremy work with together, $97 to get access to him for his one-on-one time is invaluable. So, dude, huge kudos to anyone that right now is willing to take that and hop on top of it and take advantage of it. Just for this short time I've got a chance to know Max, he's truly a dedicated kind of guy that really, really wants you to do well. So, in my opinion, you can't ask for somebody more than that, especially if they're willing to sit down and do it because they love it. Right. So, yeah. But
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, 100%. Look, I know we're wrapping up an hour. Any other last little thoughts or golden nuggets you want to drop just to top it off,
just to end it, just to top it off? What I would say is, like, and this is not even a marketing related nugget, but just more life and entrepreneurship. Especially people, it seems like a lot of people here might be listening that are just kind of getting started or thinking about getting started. In my opinion, the most important thing is doing what you love. I think at the end of the day, you can take away everything else, take away the mindset and the money management and team build, all those other things, which are all important and really, really important. But like at the essence, like the DNA, the fundamental, like the single cell of your empire, whatever you're going to build, it needs to be built on passion. And if you're doing it just because this is like what you think you should be doing, because other people are making money doing it, the chance of success is really slim, because the numbers are stacked against business owners, right? It's 30% of new businesses fail. So 30% of all businesses start today will be gone in a year. 50% will be gone in 5 years, and 70% will be gone in 10 years. So the chance of 10 people start a business today, 7 won't be around in 10 years, right? So those are the odds that we're stacked up against. And those are people doing what they love. Those are people that are passionate about their business. So that is the X factor, in my opinion. That's the only way that you can work those hours, that you can put that commitment in, that you can make that investment day after day, week after week, year after year, is you need to really believe in what you're selling. You need to believe in what you're building. And so that would be my biggest piece of advice, my biggest takeaway is, like, if you don't feel that way about what you're doing right now, I would start thinking about something that you are passionate about and think about building a business around that. There's always ways to monetize passion, especially with the tools that we have at our disposal today.
I love it, dude. Excellent way to end it. Thank you so much. Guys, please do me a favor. If you're going to listen to anything on your drive to work today, please replay this. and then do the same tomorrow and do the same for the next week. Because I promise you, there's something that's been said in here that you wouldn't have heard the first couple times. Afterwards, you're like, holy shit, this guy's right. Anyways, guys, we're going to top this off. Thank you so much. Definitely hop on for the podcast for next week. Max, you are the man. Always rock the unicorn hat. Truly appreciated. And
Of course, Brendan. It was great talking to you, man.
We'll catch up with you soon. All right.
All right. Thank you.
Cool.
Hey, it's Brendan, and thank you so much for listening to the Growing Entrepreneur Podcast. Look, if you enjoyed this episode and want more content just like this, do me a favor, hit the like and the subscribe button. That way I can create consistent content on a daily basis focused on what's important to you. Also, leave a comment. I'll make sure to get back to it as soon as possible. I will see you on the next episode.